Here are 5 questions that everybody should ask themselves before they ever start investing. Guys, investing is a tricky game, and there's 5 things that you need to look out for before you ever start. There are professionals out there who are trading other people's money. They're starting hedge funds. They have all these different systems in place in order to outperform what everybody else is doing. There's a couple guidelines that I like to stick to, and whenever somebody asks me, hey, what do I need to know before I start investing? There are 5 things that I wish I knew before I started investing that I believe would have personally helped me. And if they help you, that's great. So number 1 is going to be, how much money do I need to have in order to be able to invest? Well, this is actually one of the most common questions that I get across the board. Here's what I want you to think about. You need to think about how investments tend to perform, right? Investments don't speak in dollar amounts. They produce dollar amounts, right? But when we think about investing, we need to think about, okay, well, this investment made me 10%, or this investment made me 5%, or maybe this investment made me 40%. Okay, now if we think about our return in terms of a percentage ROI, return on investment, now it gets pretty easy to calculate how much money we need to invest. And I think that number is different for everybody. So for me, if I invest $10,000 and let's say I make that 40%, right? So that higher return that I was talking about, let's say I have a system of making 40% a year on my $10,000. Well, even at 40%, guys, that's only $4,000. And $4,000 isn't going to make much of a difference over the course of a year. It doesn't really matter if we invested $10,000 or even maybe what we invested into, because if we're only investing $10,000, even 40% isn't going to save us, right? But now if we're making, let's say 40% on $1 million, or even let's just say $100,000. We have $100,000 that we're investing. Keep it simple, making 40% on that. Well, now we're making $40,000 a year. $40,000 a year is likely to make some sort of positive difference, positive dent in your finances over the course of a year. So we need to think about, okay, well, what would make a difference for me? The S&P overall has been doing maybe about 8% on average, right? So if we think about our average return of the S&P, and if we're investing into the S&P, maybe I need to invest more than $100,000. If I invest $500,000 and I'm doing 8% on the S&P, well, now I'm making $40,000, right? So I need to think about what percentage I'm expecting to return based on the investment strategy that I have chosen, and that's going to tell me how much money I need to invest. And then whatever amount that is, I need to find a way to get access to that capital. And so whether it's partnering up with other people that can help you fund your investments, or maybe it's just learning a high income skill that somebody would pay me to do. High income skill would be something like learning photo editing or how to create reels for people, right? Something digital that's really, really taking off right now is video content. And so everything around that space, everything from copywriting to shooting the content to helping edit the content, publishing the content, all of that stuff is super high income skills right now, and it's in super high demand. And I see our economy shifting in that direction dramatically. And as more people start posting content online, the need for those people is just going to keep growing and growing and growing. So the sooner that you can start becoming proficient at those things, the sooner you can start making some money. The second thing that every investor should look at is, what is my risk tolerance? So this is a question that you should ask yourself. What is my risk tolerance, right? If I invested $100,000, what am I willing to lose, right? If I lose $50,000 of that, am I going to be depressed? Well, that's probably too risky then. Don't invest in things that are going to potentially lose you $50,000. But what if I just lose like $5,000 on an investment that could have made me maybe $20,000? I would take that investment, right? I would take that risk because I can make so much more money than I could potentially lose. So my risk tolerance is set at, let's say, 10% of my portfolio. So I will take investments that are up to 10% of my portfolio in risk and use that to grow my portfolio overall. Number 3, guys, what should I start investing in? And this is a question, again, that I get all the time. What should I be investing in? And the truth is, it's different for everybody. For some people, stocks make sense. For some people, they want to invest in oil wells and they want to have Airbnbs running in multiple cities around the country. Well, I help people down that journey because, guys, these are alternative investments. Nobody teaches you how to do these things. And I saw a gap in the market, and I teach people exactly how they can execute on these different investments. If they want to own an oil well that's producing, 7-10% a month, Well, hey, I have the oil well operator that I use. I can introduce you to him. I can show you exactly how it's done. Oh, you want an Airbnb in Tampa? I have somebody that can help you do that. I have people on my team that are operating my investments and helping me set up this huge portfolio that's in all of these different sectors and industries that allows me to withstand recessions and be extremely profitable during all market conditions because it's so balanced. Number 4, you should ask yourself, what is diversification? Guys, so back to risk tolerance. Okay, so if I'm willing to invest into something that could potentially lose me up to 10% of my portfolio, well, I want to make sure I'm diversified. If this sector, if the real estate sector of my portfolio can lose me up to 10% of my portfolio, well, maybe I should also invest into e-commerce. I'm going to start a Shopify store and hire somebody to run it for me. And so when we hire these people to run it for you, hey, I'm taking a max loss of maybe 10% of my portfolio in that sector. But I'm okay with that because the potential to profit is much higher. And then let's invest into maybe exotic car rentals. So now, okay, we're renting out exotic cars. That's also 10% of my portfolio, right? And so we're diversifying into all these different things. And I've done a video on diversification and risk management and how we have internal versus external diversification. Make sure you go check it out. It's super, super important that we diversify internally in each sector and also externally, because that allows us to play the field well, maximize our profits, and really limit our losses as minimal as we possibly can. And number 5, the last question that you should ask yourself before you ever invest is, who should I trust? Guys, so it's very, very important that we have trusted people in our investment journey. So as we walk down this path, you have to know who you can trust, because number 1, who you can trust with your investments is very important, right? Who can manage my investments correctly? Who's going to lead me down the right path and introduce me to the right investments, to the right people that can operate my investments and help me maximize how much money I'm making from each investment? And then once I start making money, who can I trust to help me keep that money safe? So you really, really have to be crystal clear on who you can trust and who you can't trust as you continue walking down this journey, because guys, it's a long journey. Investing is a marathon, not a sprint. And you want to make sure that you have the right people by your side, the people who appreciate you for who you are and who help you continue being more and more successful down that investment journey, instead of people who are toxic, who are wasting your time, who are trying to pull you in the opposite direction. Guys, you want people around you who are helping you grow your vision and push you further and further and closer to your goal. Just that 1% better every single day becomes a huge, huge number as compared to that initial figure. Guys, make sure you ask yourself these 5 questions before you ever invest, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.